Unlike a one-way traditional, I like to be more interactive, where you can bring up your practical scenarios into the session, so that we try to touch in line with the legal principles. So the title is Legal Principles Behind the Valuation of Variables. It is not only valuation, but the identification of the variables. And one thing that we tend to forget is the legal principles. Now we psychologically go by practice, by way of we have been used to some practice, and we see that it is the correct way. It's not always correct. It differs. If you can be equipped with the knowledge on legal principles, then you are more assertive, more helpful. This is the whole idea behind how to equip yourself with the knowledge of the legal principles, where you can then justify yourself. Number one, variations defined. Good evening. What is a variation? What is a variation? The Bahrain Conditions Clause number 1 defines what a variation is. So when there is a definition, so always start with the capital and then we call it variations. They say they qualify it as a variation to the works once again. This W also capital. When you go back to the word works include the supply, installation, testing, commissioning, and rectification of any defects, both permanent and temporary. It's a catch-all term, comprehensive term, works. It's physical works, tangible and measurable, priceable, right? By nature, maybe temporary or permanent. This is works. So anything, a change to this works is a variation by definition. This is what it states in clause number 1, clause 1. But when you go exactly little deeper into the matters, clause 51.1 further defines, further elaborates what exactly includes. There's a change in form, a change in character, kind, quality, quantity, line, level, position, alignment, dimension, right? Against what was contemplated in the original tender, plus, be careful with the word plus, any additional work that the engineer finds necessary, appropriate or desirable to complete works, right? This is how I'm looking at this is my way of writing what a variation is, which means a change in one of these characteristics or elements, a change in form from in situ to dry situ may be a change in form. Character maybe the characteristic is strength of concrete, change from 30 to 45, for example, is a change in character. Change in kind, different type of a marble to travertine, Italy, something different. Is a change in kind. Quality, surface finish, textured surface to some other gloss finish or non-skid finish. A change of quality. Quantity, you know the quantity, the theoretical quantity versus the actual quantity itself is a variation. Then the line level or superimposition or some longitudinal section changes in a typical road cross-section in measuring the cut and fill is a change. And then the position, even the change in the slab level, the column width and so on. And the dimension. Against what? What was originally envisaged in the scope of work. So scope of work is depicted in various documents to the contract, forming part of the contract. For example, you must go back and see what the specification says, what the drawing had shown, what the bill of quantities say, because the documents are mutually explanatory. They are complementary each other, right? And you must have seen a clause called priority of documents. This clause can be invoked only when a patent ambiguity arises. Only when a patent ambiguity arises. That means the document itself, then and there had a genuine mistake. So you have entered into a contract with a wrong assumption, maybe some wrong details. Then that is called a patent, because it's a documentary connected patent ambiguity. When there is a payment ambiguity, the engineer has been given wide authority to interpret what is to be applied. Then, in the application, the engineer has been given a guidance. What is that guidance? A priority of documents. Engineer first say, you go by the signed form of agreement, signed contract agreement. Then you go by the condition of particular application. Right? Then you go by the specification. If none of these documents support you, then again you have to depend on the drawings. Then finally the price, bill of quantities. So there is always an order of priority. Right? This is just a guideline. Don't take everything as Almighty God, something like Bible or something like that. There's always a tolerance within which you have to play fair by the parties, within which you have to what we call logical argument. Now, let me come back to this, what was originally contemplation. This is one of the legal principles. This contemplation or contemplation. Contemplation means what had the minds in the minds of the people had at the time they entered into the contract, right? What actually what made they enter into the contract? For what they bargained for, right? There's a price, there's a scheduled completion period, right? And there's a scope of work, right? And people have entered into the contract with all these elements. Right? So, the contemplation is established already in the document, in the original contract document. Right? So, in case of a variation, you must always compare and contrast against this contemplation. Against this contemplation. Right? Here, the Bahrain conditions of contract goes further, including even a change in the specified sequence is a variation. What does it mean? Typically, you have a construction program, could take any form in an integrated bar chart or something PERT, something critical path analysis, something like that, whatever form. There's a commencement date and scheduled completion date, right? In between you get milestones, right? And what else? What are the other elements you get? You have a sequence. This is the relationship, the logic between activities. And there's a duration. Those are the elements. Can you fix durations permanently? No. Durations differ because of various eventualities that follow on daily basis in any typical construction project. You get rain, inclement weather, force majeure, various other factors, shortage of materials, lack of labor and so on. So you cannot control the eventualities. You cannot control the eventualities, right? But one thing you have to control is the program, overall program. This is why the commencement date, completion date, and milestones are binding on the parties. Binding on the parties. But not the exact sequence of the work. Sequence can be changed daily basis, hourly basis, minute basis. But the Bahrain conditions say, I got this document, I read through this. And they say even a change in the specified sequence is defined as a variation. Is defined as a variation. Right? And the Bahrain conditions say even a change in the materials used or the equipment used is again a variation. Is a variation. A reduction in the materials or equipment is again a variation. So you be careful, please. When you are valuing variations, you have to go a little bit deep into the matters like technicalities, the use of material, use of equipment, the labor and all the productivity, kind of related productivity losses will form part and parcel of your valuation of variation. It is not going to be a separate claim in that sense. Right? Be careful. Right? According to the way the Bahrain conditions define variations, there cannot be separate claim on productivity loss because they are all to be taken into consideration while you are valuing variations. Right? So see the just the difference of the variation or the definition might cause some differences in the approach you have to take up. Be careful. Let's go to the next slide. The other scenario is the engineer gives the orders in writing. There are three types of variations. Who initiates? The employee initiates variations, the engineer initiates variations, and the contractor initiates variations. But be careful, the engineer cannot vary the contract because the engineer is not a party to the contract. The employer can change, the employer can vary the contract, right? Which means he cannot, it's not an open-dated check, right? He cannot misuse or abuse the contract as he wants. There are certain parameters within which the employer has to live and operate. However, the engineer may instruct variations, right? Any one of these ways, a change in form or kind or character. And then the contractor has been given some obligations to comply with whatever the engineer's variations, right? Because of the variations, the contract is not going to be invalid, right? It clearly says, precisely says, the contract remains valid, right? Otherwise, it will be preventing the smooth progress of the contract. This is prevention, right? But can't I issue a variation to you? No. I must be able to issue a variation. But it doesn't mean that I am preventing you. It doesn't mean that I am hindering your progress. Because finally, all the variations become binding. All the cumulative variations, okay, become binding between the parties. Once established, priced and negotiated, okay, and agreed. These are the essential ingredients of the binding variations. This is written in the Bahrain conditions very clearly, right? This is written. So the total cumulative number of variations once agreed, established, negotiated and agreed, become part and parcel of the contract, right? In addition to the original scope of work. You got my point? So this is called binding. Now, I said the contractor also can propose variations. Under what circumstances the contractor can initiate variations? Right? This is to promote good engineering practice. Contractors are the people working at shop floor level, ground level. They are more equipped with the operational level, right? So they can bring proposals. by way of variations in order to